There's a story why Kenya and why we're involved, but that goes back 10 years. We've been active there for about 11 years now. But we won't do that either because we're short of time. Right? But it's been good. It's been a good year. It's always a challenge when you get an email from somebody in Kenya who tells you a very sad story, and you say, "Can you?" And they say, "Can you pray about it?" And that's their way of saying, "Money will fix this if you'd like to send some money." And it took me a while to get used to that, but it's a beautiful thought, isn't it? That they say, "Well, pray, and if God leads you, then you can send some money." If a pastor's sister, who's about 15 years old, doesn't have enough money to actually attend school, because in Kenya there are no free schools. Government schools, state schools we call them here, cost money. They are charged money per student, and if they arrive on the first day of a new term at that school and they don't have the correct money for the term fees, they're sent home. And when they save enough money to actually come back again and they enrol, and if they happen to run out of money, then they're sent home when their money runs out. So consequently, this young girl, 15 years old, called Mercy, younger sister of a pastor didn't have a lot of income, certainly not enough out of the collection plate to support him and his sister. Then the sister had to go home, and consequently when it came to exam time at the end of the term, she was getting about 34th, 33rd, 35th out of the class of 38. So she was down at the bottom and obviously probably very embarrassed about her situation. And so then came the email about what can we do to help. And of course we paid the first lot of fees for the term, which meant she arrived on the first day at school and stayed there for the whole term. And she did it again, and she came third out of 38. So a brainy kid at natural level of intelligence and hard work and so on, and appreciation for now being able to stay in school means that she's coming good in life. So that's good. So while ever there's kids like that or situations like that, we'll try and fundraise to send money to support them. We do the proper vetting. We look at what they're doing and how their attitudes are. And one good book that we started the whole process with is something like this: Helping Without Hurting in Short-Term Missions. If you have an interest in this area, there's a series of books about that. You can hurt the situation rather than help it. If you give away too much money, if you give away too much money too early, if you don't try and involve the people over there in a group and an approach to it, you learn a lot. We've learned a lot from the Kenyans, but so too, hopefully, they've learned from us too as well. And it's not just today. We need to plan for next week and next month and next year. And so that's where I think the Western approach tops out in that regard. I'd like to just say a really big thank you to Jos and Daphne for allowing us to do this and to expose people to what we're doing in Kenya and what the Kenyans are doing. And one of the times that I did this, there was a question from this lady here. She might not remember her question, but the question was, are we supplying them food that has good veggies? Yeah, veggies that are green and help their health rather than just plain ordinary local food, you know. And I must admit, I went home after that question and I thought, what do people expect? They're starving. Any food is any food, you know. But I actually did investigate it after I believe the message in my brain from the Lord was to say, well, let's try and explore this. And in fact, there was a local pastor who had run these sort of businesses in the slum in Nairobi called Kibera, biggest slum in Africa. And he called them veggie stalls. In other words, there was a lot of older people that couldn't make travel the distance out to where the farms were or the markets to buy food. So let's give a distribution type business where somebody goes and gathers the good food and brings it into the slum and sells it. And the side benefit of that is that we can decide whether to run that veggie stall at a reasonable profit, so it's an income for the veggie store holder, or we can run it on a charity basis, cut the price as much as we can, and so the food actually goes to those who are starving and poor. So, brilliant question. Yeah. And just to finish up, I'd just like to ask for prayer for us, because we are doing reasonably well, we think, and we know God is with us, and we know that when there's a discussion at home about if we don't have enough money for A, B and C, what do we do? Because A, B and C are probably needy and can use some resources from Australia in terms of money. We've got the systems set up to cut out the any unsavoury actions or cheating or greed or whatever, but we still come up against issues such as this here, where we're really relying on God to instill wisdom into us to do the right thing in the right way. So with Kathy, who makes decisions more with her heart than her head, and Lyndon making decisions more with his head than his heart, then there's a balancing thing there that I'm sure God works on in what we're doing. So, but I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who supports us. Continue to pray for us, and if you want more information, come and ask us. But we'd just like to acknowledge God, beautiful God in all of these situations, and how many people in Kenya are living today because we helped them through the famine with the help of healing rooms, and also now that some plants are there and they're being harvested, cultivated, and some food is being produced, and there's money flowing to help with the rest, then it's a good situation. And yeah, beautiful experience of both of us, where we've been taught many things through this journey, and we thank God for that wonderfully. Thank you.